I'm sweating.
Okay, we'll turn it up. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another another episode of Parents Riding in Cars Without Kids. Woo! We literally have not been without our kids for 2.5 weeks.
And we're going on a date.
So
we look so pretty.
Yes, we look good. Thank you, Ryan and Sharon, for getting married and giving us this
Much needed
break and date. So, anyways, we want to thank everyone for liking our first episode and subscribing and sharing. We appreciate you guys doing that, so please do that. And
listening to little old us.
Yeah. We're not really old, right? And I'm not really little.
Getting up there.
Anyways, thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
Today we're going to be talking about arguing, which we just argued right now, and fighting in marriage. Because
we had to start over because we had a little argument.
About arguing.
Yep.
But first, we're going to talk about how the kids start school on Monday. And this mama is really excited because they are getting on each other's nerves. Like, at first it's really fun and everyone's just sleeping in and we're staying up late and it's just the best. But now we're getting to the point where everyone is just annoyed at everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. All the time. And Griffin literally is like a human noisemaker, and Mason today said, Griffin, can you please stop saying those words? They're really bugging me. And it's just the kind of crap we're at right now. Like, the kids starting school on Monday, it's like sad because then the kids are all getting bigger, and that's sad. But then at the same time, thank you God for teachers who want to take our children.
Yes.
And I am literally in awe of you.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
I could not.
Amen.
And
we're getting blessed over here.
we bought all the school supplies with joyful hearts.
We did.
And we got
put it on a credit card, but we still bought them.
And
just kidding. We didn't do that. We did not do that. Nope. We don't do that anymore. Our finances are for a different week.
It's another topic.
But yes, our kids are getting on each other's nerves, and
which means they're getting on our nerves.
Yes, they are getting on our nerves because they squeal like little banshees. Whatever they're doing, we make them go outside and they squeal.
Do we know what a banshee is? We say that all the time.
Yeah, it's like a tambourine. I don't know what it is. It's like a person who goes around screaming. That's what they are. Yeah.
But I don't know what it is.
Little banshee woman. Anyway. So they're getting on each other's nerves, and we thought that would be a good... it's just a good example of, I think, what we experience as a married couple. We don't know if you experience the same thing, but
we're learning to fight well.
No, we're not to the solution part. We're still explaining the problem. Okay, you can't end this in 2 minutes.
It's like,
we are learning to fight better, but we have had a few good arguments.
You just said what I said.
I just said it because I didn't want to make you feel silly, but yes, we're learning to fight better. However, we still have arguments literally...
Thanks for not making me feel silly.
Every single day. Little ones primarily, but I think they fester and they can easily grow into big fights and arguments. So how do we fight?
Like taking out the trash can, for instance.
Okay.
We're going to go there because when
I feel like we need a safe word. Like, if you're going to say something that I don't want you to talk about, what do we say? Michael Jackson.
Okay.
He's a safe person for me.
Can we do like something like marshmallows or something?
No, I don't like that.
Okay.
If you say something that offends me, I'm going to say Michael Jackson and we don't keep talking about it. Okay. So what do we fight about?
We fight about everything, but I think it's important to recognize how different me and you are. And that does not go over well in fighting sometimes. For me, for instance, I am super explosive and I go from zero, You can be nice about this. You don't need to go. You don't need to go for the jugular.
I am
today,
not talking.
Okay, we're gonna keep it civil, babe.
Yeah.
But
Michael Jackson.
go from 0 to 100 like that. It's one of my qualities that I'm working on.
Yeah.
But it's who I am. I'm passionate. I'm very like go get 'em kind of person. Austin, he processes everything internally, and he doesn't want to be told what to do, and I'm kind of controlling a little bit.
A little bit.
So, when we were first married, we have a house, and it's very easy to slip into like these like gender roles, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the wife does the cooking, the cleaning, and the all the stuff. And the husband does what? Stereotypical lawns, trash cans.
I do a lot of dishes.
Lawns and trash cans?
And dishes. And
Dishes.
Okay.
But when we first got married, the trash can was like one of our big fights because I would ask him, babe, can you take out the trash can? Can you take out the trash can? Can you take out the trash can? And then it turned into this, like, Austin was like penting it up, and then it turned into this explosive conversation about how, not a conversation, it was like a fight.
It was an argument, yeah.
It was a major argument, and we were like 21, married, fighting about trash cans. And it was one of those things where I realized, like, we realize now, I have to be like, hey, babe, now, we're at what? How many years have we been married? 11 years. We're going on 11 years.
Yeah.
And now I have to prep him. Babe, the trash can has to go out. The trash can has to go out. At some point today.
That's not prepping, that's telling. Prepping me is saying, hey, honey, and I told you I wanted you to do it this way. I said, I don't want you to say, hey, honey, right now, take the trash out. Right now.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to do this right now.
Like,
Whatever
it's
you're doing,
overflowing. Things are falling on the floor.
Excuse me.
It's like
whatever I am doing is not important, no matter what it is, and I need to do it right now.
Laker game is so important.
Right now.
So important.
It's very much more important than taking out the trash. But we have learned that through an argument, what I needed was for her to say, hey, honey, can you take out the trash sometime in the next little bit, the next couple hours? Today, you actually do
like
today now.
The next,
it's awesome.
Like 24 hours.
And what happens when you do that?
You do it. You do it.
Well, I do it.
But I have to give you
I feel like I do it quickly.
I give you a very, very generous window to take out the trash now. Very generous window.
You do. But I get it done, and that has helped us with like little chores and tasks.
But the thing is like we're different people. Like what's important to you is not important to me, and what's important to me is really not important to you sometimes. I feel very strongly about that right this minute. It's very important.
What's an example of that?
I don't know if I'm like emotionally ready to get into that in a second.
You need to say the safe word.
But we're learning.
Right, let's get into it.
We're learning how to communicate. I'll get there. We're learning how to communicate.
Yeah. 11 years married, and we're still learning every day.
Like one of our recent seasons, when I was figuring my life out and trying to take care of myself and trying to take care of kids, I was like kind of crazy for a minute as far as like I was like the egger. Like I would make fights out of nothing. I recognize that. But I think we tend to do that. We tend to like focus on things that are important, but they're like, and the other thing is that we come from a place where like what comes out a lot of times in a big fight or an explosive fight is not always the like what's really happening. It's like what you're feeling. I'm the feeler. So like when Austin, like when I'm crying in tears on the floor because he didn't take the trash can out, it's not really about the trash can, right? It's about
I think a better example is the argument we had last week where you wanted me to go. I need to go to CVS and get some propane so we could grill, and also pick up one of Reagan's prescriptions. And they didn't have propane, and her prescription wasn't ready. The pharmacist was on lunch or something. I don't know why they take lunches.
It's like the law.
I guess. Anyway, they told me it was ready, and it wasn't ready. So Randy said, "Go get some lunch for everyone." So I got a couple.
I was like wondering where you're going.
How did you forget about that? It's a huge argument. But I went and got a couple, like, little,
lunch items.
$5 pizzas, a couple bags of chips,
and
I got like a Hostess cupcakes for dessert for the kids, and I happened to get 2 little 6-packs of the mini sodas.
Like 12 of them.
Yeah, 2 6-packs
No,
equals
like
12.
16.
Okay.
There's 8 in the pack. There's a lot
6.
of them.
Anyway, so she was not happy with the fact that I brought home soda for the kids.
And I flipped out about the soda.
Yes.
And he flipped out because I was not wanting our kids to have soda.
I didn't flip out.
You flipped out.
You did a full house.
I flipped out, and because I flipped out, you
Where they
flipped
run
out.
upstairs and
I had to
slam
take
the
a minute.
door.
I did not slam
Something
the door.
straight out of Full House.
I didn't slam the door. But I was very, very upset. Very upset about this. And it's a conflict that we've been having for a long time about soda. Our children and soda. I have a very hard time with.
Yeah, that's a whole other.
That's a whole other conversation. But that is something that I
don't drink soda every day,
we do not
but
say
I don't
that.
want to deprive our kids 100% from something that yummy. That's what I'm going to say about it. That's it.
So.
Anyway, but that's a recent argument we had. But I think that's an example of where other things were happening.
Does this make you feel good? We fight about soda.
I know.
Like, I hope this makes you feel better about your life.
Other things were happening that
Were affecting you.
And it blew up because of the soda.
The
Which
soda's
a
still
little-
very important
A little
to me.
6-ounce can of soda was not that big of a deal when you're having pizza and chips
Okay,
for
but you
lunch.
can't say that because it was a big deal to me.
At that moment, but I argue it's because, not argue, we're not arguing.
We are arguing a little bit.
I would think that it wasn't because of necessarily the soda, because they shouldn't be eating chips, they should be eating
Hostess cupcakes
Pizza and Hostess
pizza
cupcakes,
that's from
which
the
you were-
frozen section.
Yeah,
like,
but
we're
there was-
talking about zero nutritional value in our lunch period. That's another story for another day.
which you had me make the decision on lunch.
I did not make
Okay.
you have it. I did
Happy
not-
Jackson!
I didn't make you have it. You took the initiative to
Yeah.
do that, which I was
Right.
grateful for. But then when I saw the offering, so this is where I think it's important to recognize where
How do we wrap up that conversation?
we wrapped up with me crying, feeling terrible about how explosive I was. I flipped out, you guys, like about the soda. And I had to apologize. And that's the thing, like, you have to like recognize your part and like be remorseful for it if you want to move forward in anything, I think. So we basically like hugged it out, apologized. He apologized
For getting soda.
soda. I apologized for going nuts about the soda, which turns out it wasn't entirely about the soda. And we worked through it. It was like a really rough. It was
that
a
was
rough
kinda-
like hour and a half.
Yeah, that
for
was
us.
ugly because then I started bringing out like little things that she does that drives me crazy. But
Like
then
jabbing. But that's
Yeah.
natural. Like we do that. We get like defensive. Like he was defensive because I was attacking him, and so you kind of start getting the claws out. I feel like in effective communicating, you can't approach someone and attack them for what they're doing. You have to come from a different perspective. And I fully attacked him and attacked his judgment for children. And
Yeah.
took it really personal. And then
They were gonna die.
he elevates it. Babe. Okay.
We don't need to have this argument again.
We're going to have a different conversation about nutrition because don't even get me started.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that people work through. One, not like hiding. I had to take a minute. I went upstairs because I was very upset, and it was not effective communicating. So I had to go upstairs, take a deep breath. I literally like had to like really pull in like the deep breathing that you like have labor with, like that kind of breathing. Like I was really mad. I was very upset. Like,
but I think that kind of shows like that's how we fight. Not necessarily that you always storm off, but like usually our fights are you having a quick little, I need a minute.
Okay.
I just go quiet.
Which is the worst,
Right.
I think. Then I have to figure out what you're thinking, what you're dealing with. What is he thinking? I don't know. So he just shuts down. Oh, the best is when he says, let's just shelf this for right now. For someone who's a talker and who is emotional, like emotion driven, like that phrase sends me over the edge.
Or park it.
Let's park this. Let's come back to this. No, I want to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to talk about it later. I want to talk about it right now. I don't want to shelf it.
That's a good question though. Is it we tend to like need to battle it out right then and there. Actually, you need to, and I'm totally down to.
No,
but
you're not.
Sometimes I'm not down to, but I don't know the right answer. Is it okay for a married, or not just a married person, but it's okay for a couple who's fighting to take a minute, or is that not good?
I think it's how you communicate it. I did not.
Is it ever okay to leave?
I don't know the answer.
Have we
to
ever
that.
left?
I have. Another time I got really explosive. Again, I'm really working on this. Okay, I'm not proud of it. I tend to be a little bit over the top.
I don't remember it, so I don't say that in like funny.
Do you remember the time you got the third chicken? The third chicken.
Oh yeah.
Memorial Day.
That was a good one.
I don't know. Like, what was that? A year ago? 2 years ago?
That was.
I'm in a much better place now.
Cupcake is 2 years old now. No. The other chickens are 2. She's only a year and.
Cupcake made me leave the house.
Yeah.
That was a bad one.
We had 2 chickens and she was not happy about those, and I surprised her.
He surprised me with a chicken coop in a full-on 2 double-decker chicken coop, and then brought 2 chickens home after he picked the kids up for school. And then a year later, he thought it was a good idea to get a 3rd chicken because all the kids needed chicken.
That means we need a 4th
Who is
chicken.
home with all the animals?
Yes, you are.
Where are you? You're working. So,
Yep.
you can understand my frustration
Yeah.
with the cupcake situation. The kids.
But you left on that one. I do remember that.
I did leave that. Reagan's like, Mommy, we got another chicken. I was like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. She was like, yeah, we did. And I was like, what? Okay.
My phone is shaking like crazy. Yeah, but I don't know. Our backgrounds are completely different, which we're just different. You know, I think what we saw, we're not going to put our family's laundry on this, but, you know, what we saw growing up was definitely different. And so I remember the first time we got in an argument and she, like, wanted to leave, I was like, dude, is she going to leave me? But she came back and we talked it out. And
Honey, like, I don't leave all the time.
No, you don't. You probably left.
I can count on 2 fingers how many times I have left our home.
Literally, yeah. It's probably been twice.
I have been
not recently.
So mad that I could not even formulate a sentence that would be anything.
I've taken a
nice
walk.
or productive.
I've taken a walk. That was a pretty heated argument. I don't even remember what we argued about, but I had to take a walk. But I mean, I think.
But would you say though, like with your personality, that you tend to just kind of think everything's okay? Like, I'm more the one that kind of dives a little deeper into like trying to solve problems, or if something's wrong, like how do we fix it? And you're like, I don't know, what do you mean what's wrong? It's kind of fine. Like, that's just your personality. I'm not saying that to like talk down to you or anything. Like, we're just totally different in how we like do things.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there's. I'm okay to live in the space where we are having problems. Like, it doesn't affect my breathing. It doesn't affect my ability to get air into my system or argument.
Okay. That's all anxiety.
But you know what I mean? Like, you're just different. You're like, you cannot be in the space.
Okay, how about we say?
Okay, we are different. We are different.
You are different.
Yeah,
we are different. We are both very different people.
Right. But we usually come back to. We always come back to each other, and we know that whole cliche, like, don't go to bed angry. Like, we've gone to bed angry.
That's a bunch of crap.
That's a bunch of shit. It's a bunch of bull hockey.
You're gonna have to bleep that out.
Okay. But
some days you just can't. Some days they're just freaking hard. It's hard. It's hard to be married. It's hard having to like balance it all, and then the first person that gets like Austin or me, we become the punching bag for what we're dealing with in life. Typically, right?
Right. And a lot of times, like, the kids have played a role in it because, you know, one of us has been watching them for most of the afternoon or day. Mainly you, and you're already at your...
I love them.
You're already... So yes, you do love our kids.
I love our kids.
But you're already at empty, you know, because of what...
The day I had.
Yeah, because of the day that you've had with them screaming and making animal noises and telling and whatever.
Hitting and punching and fighting and peeing on the floor and throwing food and punching each other in the stomach.
So you're already done. And then I do something and it's just like...
If you're the easy target or I'm the easy target for you.
Yep.
That's kind of how it goes.
I don't know. We just kind of like, we repair by understanding that we don't stay the night anywhere else. Like, I think that's like a big no-no. You know, that's like a... I don't know. That's like
a tricky thing. That's like an individual... That's like... that doesn't work for us. That's not...
No, that's not okay. You can't be so mad that you're going to stay the night somewhere else.
That's your opinion, babe.
I mean, I guess there are, you know, like...
There could be people...
I guess it's...
who do things different, and it's not a matter of like us judging other people. It's us, like, what works for our marriage, and for us that is a rule that we have. Like, we don't, that's something that we don't do that.
No,
that doesn't mean that's everyone else's scenario.
I still don't like it.
It's okay.
I think it's a red flag, and it's an indicator that you're not willing to come back to each other. You know, obviously, if you got to get out for an hour or two, or 3, you know, I think that's something that, you know, like, that's okay. Because, again, just like our last episode, like, you need time apart.
Babe, there's some situations, though, where, like, I'm thinking of other people. For us, it's not, like, something that we do. There are situations that
if you caught your
spouse
cheating.
Let's just say, like, we're getting real crazy here. But what I'm trying to say is, like, you do you, but what works for us.
Right. We're not here to give you...
It's not our job.
To judge you.
Our job is not to tell you what is the right way.
I'm kind of judgy, I'm sorry.
We are saying what works for us and what helps us in fights. And leaving the scenario, like leaving the situation, isn't helpful. It kind of makes everything worse.
Leaving sometimes. As in, like, physically, like, driving or...
Yeah, because that's like a trigger for you. Like, for me, it's not like, oh, I'm going to divorce my husband. For me, it's like, I need a freaking minute to, like, collect my thoughts before I go completely psycho right now. Like, and it's just better for everybody. And that's not, I don't feel like that's wrong. I don't feel like that's a bad thing. We are just different. For you, I have to remember that it really affects you when I do that. So I have to communicate to you in the middle of our fight, which just takes a lot of brain power to have to do this. But I have to say, I need to take a minute. I need to take a deep breath. I cannot talk to you about this right now. I'm going to leave to take a minute to breathe and, like, collect my thoughts. And that goes
you don't usually
over
say it
a
that
little
nicely.
bit. I don't say that. I'm just saying the gist is I have to communicate now because I have learned how much that affects you. I know now how hard that is for you when I do that. So because I love you and because we're in it for the long haul, you have to figure it out. That's the bottom line. You have to figure it out. You can't just like dismiss arguments as like, you know, he said, she said. It's like, no, you have to work through like how can you fight well? How can you work through it together to where maybe there's not a solution, and that happens a lot for us, where like we are in such polar opposite. I mean, the Pepsi thing's kind of an example. Like we
I grew up on soda a lot more
I'm just
than
saying,
I drink now.
we're not going to do. I can't get into that right now. That's a whole can of worms right there. But like, we are so different, and right now there's not a solution.
No.
So how do you be okay with it? How do you be okay with being different?
We buy Sprite and not Coke.
We did have to come up with a compromise because
We did.
I mean, this is real, you guys. Like, we had to come up with a compromise, and it wasn't what I want entirely. Like, what I want is for everyone to just drink water. Like, what is the problem? One, it's free. Stupid. How? Ugh. I'm gonna be nice about it.
Be nice.
Even though I don't feel great.
I do think it is important to talk, and
Communicate.
you can't just let it go. It needs to be like a...
Because guess what? It's gonna come out, and it's gonna be like...
Yeah. It's nasty.
Like, real nasty. If you don't get in it and, like, address it head on and work through it, and guess what? Sometimes, I know you are way different view on this, but, like, counseling or find, like, a mentor or, a married couple that we've had to do that. We have a married couple who we really respect in wisdom. They did our premarital counseling, and we've had to, like, revamp with them and, like, go through it, and that's hard for him to do. Maybe
It's another issue.
babe, I love counseling. I'm not even ashamed of it. I go to counseling.
No.
What are you saying?
I'm not saying counseling is bad. I'm saying...
What are you saying?
You're like cornering me right now.
I'm not trying to corner you. I'm trying to see your side.
Okay, let me just tell you my
we're
viewpoint.
different. Like I would be like, let's go to counseling and solve all the problems.
You want to go to counseling for a hangnail?
I hear your. Okay, you need to be nice.
Okay, no, I'm saying
Michael freaking Jackson. Okay, babe, like you need to be nice.
Okay, let me backtrack.
Speak with love.
I am not like.
I am not your enemy.
How do I put this? I am someone who I know we will be better, and I know we will communicate, and I know we'll get through it, and I love you no matter what, and I love you through it. I love you through all the crap. So I don't need someone to tell me what I feel like I already know.
This is something we argue about a lot.
Not that I already know, because I don't have all the answers, but I know you very well, and I feel like I know we always come back. So in the moment you want to go to counseling, then all of a sudden we're good. We make love and we're good. Or we
seriously, babe,
snuggle and we kiss and hold hands and we go on a date, which is necessary. And we realize that it's necessary.
It's not always like that.
It's not always like that, but I know the situation. So that's why counseling for me is oh my gosh. But it's valuable. I know it's extremely valuable. I know very close people in my world who have gone to counseling. And we've gone to counseling.
Our best friend is an MFT, okay? So,
right.
I very much appreciate what counseling can do for your life. I have benefited from it significantly in the last couple of years.
Right.
So,
I think we need to begin to kind of bring it home. So we are a work in progress. We don't have all the answers.
We could argue about going to counseling right now.
We could have an argument in the next 10 minutes once we hit pause or stop.
Which we'll tell you about.
Yeah. But I think the ultimate thing is we know we're married and we love each other, and I think that's the biggest.
Together?
Yes, we have 4 beautiful children, and we understand there will be arguments, and I think it's not always hunky-dory. It's not always pie in the sky, glitters and rainbows. Throw whatever 2 amazing things in there.
Even when you argue.
Right. It's not always like that when you're married. And so understanding, don't hit the hot buttons for each other, which we still do, but try to stay away from those, and then have a safe word.
No, don't try to
Like
stay away
Michael
from
Jackson.
them. You just have to work through them.
Work through them and say your safe word. You want to be starting something. I love you.